Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of First Person Chef. Today I'm going to be making just a basic marinara sauce, and right now I'm chopping up some baby Vidalia onions. Usually I would use red onions for this recipe, but since the baby Vidalia onions are available and they're not from out of the country, I chose to get those instead. Of course, you could definitely use whichever onion you like. It all would be good. So I've already chopped up a bunch of these, like a bundle of them. And so I'm on my second bundle. So I would say use about 2 medium or large onions of your choice. I'm using the whole thing because they're kind of like big green onions or scallions, and I just don't want to waste any of it since the bulbs aren't very big anyway. And so this is actually the only thing I'm going to be chopping up today to make this marinara sauce. Like I said, it's very simple. It's only a few ingredients and it doesn't cook for very long. The recipe I'm kind of basing this on was one I saw Mario Batali do, and I think it was his grandmother's recipe, who was from Italy. She of course he used red onions and seasoned it with thyme, and then added a little shredded carrots. And I'm not gonna add the shredded carrots just because I don't want to go to the trouble today. Without the carrots, it's still good. So he said his grandmother used to add shredded carrot, probably because her tomatoes weren't of great quality, so they didn't have much sweetness to them, and so the shredded carrot was to add a little sweetness. But he still does it. The basic idea, though, is from him. I'm going to finish putting these into a bowl over here. And this is a bench scraper. I think used a lot for baking and such, to scrape clumped up flour off the table or whatnot. But it's also pretty handy to scrape up chopped veggies. A lot more efficient than using just your hands or your nice knives. All right, so we got those all chopped up. Now we're gonna start making the sauce. Okay, so I got my trusty 5-quart saucepan again. I'm gonna get the heat up to about a 7, medium-high heat. And then I'm gonna wait on that to heat up a second and get up my olive oil, have it ready. While we're waiting on that to heat up a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and get the spices together. So a couple tablespoons of garlic, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Then of course we're gonna add some Italian seasoning. I usually just like to season with oregano, maybe a little thyme, personally. And to give it a little kick, I'm gonna add some crushed red pepper flakes. All right, so our pan seems like it's hot. Let's get some olive oil in there. Oh yeah, that's ready to go. And add our onions. All right, so I got that stirred up a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and season it with some salt and pepper. Give it another stir after it's seasoned. All right, now we're gonna let this cook for a little bit, let these sweat down. And I'm gonna go ahead and open the tomato cans while this is going. All right, I've got 3 28-ounce cans of whole peeled tomatoes. in go the tomatoes into a bowl. Be careful of them splashing. And the third can. So with clean hands, I'm gonna reach in here and we're gonna squeeze these tomatoes so they're all broken up and they'll cook down easier. Alright, so I got the tomatoes all smashed up. Washed my hands because they had tomato juice all over them. Alright, so now it looks like these onions have been cooked down long enough. They've just been going for about 5 to 7 minutes, I think. So now what I want to do is kind of push these to the side. So now what I want to do is add a little more olive oil in the center here. And let that get hot for a second. And now we're going to add in all those spices we mixed together. Garlic, Italian seasoning, red chili flakes, and the tomato paste. And we're going to throw that down in the center. Oh man, and that already is smelling really good. We want to get these spices and the tomato paste all nice and browned up here. And the oil helps the flavors of the flavor chemicals or the flavor compounds of the spices, helps them disperse throughout the sauce. Alright, that's browned up a fair amount. Now I'm going to go ahead and stir back in the onions and let this cook a little more with it all mixed together. So I'll let that cook for just about 30 more seconds to a minute tops. And now we're going to add in the tomatoes. Now be careful here, again, splashing. So let's stir this all up, get everything mixed together. So we're going to let this come up to a boil. Give it a stir and then reduce it to a we're gonna reduce it to a simmer and let it go for 20 to 30 minutes. And that's alright, so that's probably good enough. Let's give it a stir. I'm gonna turn it down to about medium. And then I'm gonna cover it mostly, leave a little gap here, and then we'll check on it then. So it's been 15 minutes, and I ended up turning this down to medium-low after I heard it bubbling a little more than I would like. So I'm gonna give this a stir, and then I'm gonna let it go some more on medium-low for probably 15 more minutes. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna partially cover it again. Okay, so it's been 15 more minutes for a total of 30 minutes that we've been cooking this. I'm gonna give it another stir. And this is pretty thick, but like I did with the Mexican black bean soup last episode, I'm gonna use my immersion blender to smooth this out to the consistency that I want it. I told y'all I'd be using it for a lot of stuff. Alright, so let me get that out. Okay, so we've got our immersion or stick blender ready to go, and again, get the kind that the bottom detaches so you can clean it easier. We're going to stick this down below the surface so it doesn't splatter everywhere, and puree this up a little bit. Whoop. Okay, there we go. I didn't just leave it on forever and make it totally smooth. You can still see there's chunks of onion in here. Sometimes I do it smooth, but just this looks pretty good with the little chunks in it. So let's give it a taste. I'm not going to plate any of this up. I'm actually just going to let it cool off for a while, and then I'm going to portion it out into containers, and then I'm going to freeze it so I can use it later for other recipes. And that'll definitely be coming up in future episodes. So let's give it a taste. Woo! Okay, got to wait a minute. It's still pretty hot. Okay, so to be honest, I think I'm going to add a little more Italian seasoning and then I'm going to puree it all the way. I don't really like those little onion chunks like I thought I would. So there you go. It's that easy. And we will be using it later for other episodes. So thanks for watching, guys. See you next time on First Person Chef.